I watched Rocky 4 with my ex-girlfriend. She ruined it. She goes, "This is the worst Rocky movie." And I'm like, "No. This is the best Rocky movie."
Yes.
She goes, "It's literally a montage, followed by a montage, followed by a black guy getting killed, followed by a montage, followed by a training montage, followed by a fighting montage that ends on a freeze frame." And I'm like, fuck.
Without context, I would assume you're describing a Fox News broadcast. Welcome back to Technically Foul, Episode 3. I'm here as your host, Brandon Lejeune, with my co-host.
Your coast, Brandon Lejeune?
All right, let's do it again. All right, here we go. All right, Technically Foul, Episode 3. I'm here. I'm your host, Brandon Lejeune, with my other host,
John Carden.
There we go. That was our second attempt at the intro. I wanted to shout you out because I want to say congratulations, John Carden, for outselling the Chicago White Sox.
I outsold the White Sox, baby!
That is a crazy thing. So I did some math this morning. They sold 98 tickets to 2 games, a doubleheader.
Yep.
That averages out to 44 people at 1 game.
Which means on August 23rd for my birthday show, guess who outsold the White Sox?
You know, here's an awesome number that I realized too. So at 44 people for 1 game, they seat 40,000 people in their stadium. It would take 909 games or 5.6 MLB seasons to fill the stadium completely at that rate. Jesus. That's how bad their attendance is.
That is some sad math.
Sad. I was doing this on the treadmill this morning. I was like, oh no, 5.6 years?
And you've got one of the most iconic logos.
Yeah.
You're in one of the most baseball-rich cities in America.
Yeah.
And you've got an historic franchise.
Mm-hmm.
The White Sox have been around for over 100 years.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't sell more than 100 tickets for a doubleheader.
It's the saddest franchise maybe ever.
God, and they had
like this year?
How long ago was Ozzie Guillen? How long ago
it can't be that long. I mean,
they were
early
like
2000s. Yeah, early 2000s. Like within the last 20 years, like the generation of fans that are probably going to games grew up watching that. It's not like they missed out on that, you know?
Yeah.
It's just it's got to be one of the saddest franchises, because I also saw another crazy stat that they said that the Chicago White Sox, their division, I think they're the AL Central, if I'm correct. The AL Central as a division is 38 games under 500, but every team besides the White Sox is above 500.
That's how they messed up the curve?
Yes, that's how bad they're like, I think they've already lost 105 games, and there's still like 28 games left in the season or something like
They're
that.
like a retarded kid in an Asian math class.
Yeah. They're just like, am I in the right class right now?
They're like, our average is 3.6. They look over, Daryl, quit drooling, dude.
Yeah, they're just like the fat American kid, and everyone else is like the Chinese kid on a ball playing like the viola and doing math
Rubik's
equations.
Cubes blindfolded.
Yeah. Bro, that's so. I just can't believe how bad the White Sox are. Can you think of a franchise that? Maybe the 0-17 Lions.
The 0-17 Lions. The Panthers had a really bad year where we were like 1-15.
Yeah, I don't know why. It's just, I think it's the amount of games and the fact that it's still like, even in 162 games, to be at like 34 wins right now is impressive. They said that like the 104, like when they hit their 104th loss, and it was like 104 losses in like 140 games. It was the all-time record for the worst record through the first 140 games. Baseball's been around since like 1850.
Also, like, paper the room.
Yeah. Give away some tickets. Get the orphanage in there. Get
Dude.
O-Block down in there.
You know what I mean? Empty out some schools.
Yeah.
Make it look like this is a charity. Get an Angels in the outfield situation. I don't know what you got to do.
Get anyone in there.
Anybody, dude.
Yeah.
Any bodies.
They could do sections. They could seat like half the stadium, like one gang, half the stadium the other side, to get some good banter going back and forth.
Dude, you know what I realized?
What?
The Chicago Sky have had higher attendance numbers.
No. You're right.
Chicago White Sox.
No.
Angel Reese is selling more tickets with a 33% field goal percentage.
It was the other day they had like a 50,000-60,000 turnout for the Chicago Sky, right? They played at that big arena.
Yeah, and
I mean that was for 40,000 seats, 909 games. It would take them another like 3 years to get to that level of attendance. Wow, we came far as a nation, dude. Old white people are out.
The White Sox need Caitlin Clark.
Yeah, let Caitlin Clark and like Sister Jean start the game for you.
Oh, dude, Sister Jean's my lady. You know, I have a Sister Jean bobblehead.
That's a great bobblehead to have.
Mm-hmm.
That's fantastic.
Oh yeah, dude, we are fucking out here.
Yeah, that's a good. I have like, do you have any cool sports memorabilia besides, is that probably your most prized possession?
My Sister Jean bobblehead.
Yeah.
I have a signed Carolina Panthers football, but it's not like a good signature.
Yeah.
You know, it's fucking Fred Lane.
Okay.
I don't know if you know who Fred Lane is.
No,
Fred Lane was a running back for the Carolina Panthers that was killed by his wife.
Oh, see, that's cool though.
It is cool, but also it's, you know, not really worth anything.
No, but I like merch like that. I like merch that is only sentimental in kind of a fucked up way. Because I have some cool merch. Like I have like a hat signed to me by, who's Klay Thompson's dad? The whatever his dad.
Klay Thompson Sr.?
The guy, he played for the Lakers apparently. Yeah. I'm not great with basketball. And then I have like Sean Figgins. He was a third baseman. He hit the cycle. I have his double from that. The cycle ball signed by him. Like that's a cool one. But like weird memorabilia, I guess I have an LA Kiss jersey signed by the entire team, which
that's
are all
cool.
guys just working at like McDonald's, Enterprise Rent-A-Car, coaching some D3 school. And then it's also signed by like Paul Stanley and like other members of Kiss and shit, where it's like, oh, this is cool, but then that's the coolest merch I have, I guess.
Dude, I like how, I don't know how the stigma happened or like how the correlation happened, but Enterprise Rent-A-Car really is like a breeding ground for ex-professional athletes and ex-NCAA athletes. I don't know if they marketed that or if it was something that they intended, but I've been to Enterprise Rent-A-Car a lot.
Yeah.
Every single time. It looks like the dude that's like the pride of a JUCO.
Yeah, there's some like 6'5" D tackle trying to type your license plate number.
Absolutely, his big old fucking fingers.
Dude, his polo is 8 sizes too small, and he's like, make sure you return the car with a full tank of gas. You're like, I'll do whatever you say.
Whatever you say, sir.
You had 12 sacks last season, and now I'm giving you attitude. You can't do shit about it.
You had 12 sacks for the Mississippi Outlaws. For the Charlotte Copperheads.
You made $300 last month playing football, and you also broke your finger, and that hospital bill was $900. You lost so much money playing football.
Yeah, that's so funny.
Well, that was, dude, when we were
to go upside down on a tackle.
Yeah. How's your football career going? I'm actively losing money.
I'm $25,000 in debt because I hit this dude too hard on the 20.
Yeah, our league has a clause where I have to pay his medical bills because I sent him to the hospital. It's like, bro, just be a stand-up comic at that point. Go into debt doing something else. Fuck.
Oh man,
that was a pitch we really got though. Was our coach? We had these things called they were called Man Maker Days, where like during our, and I actually kind of respect this, during our,
I had Man Maker Days. That's why I got 3 kids.
Yeah, your Man Maker Days are way cooler than ours. Ours was 80 sweaty dudes in like a small room where like, I will shout out them. They the whole idea was that after football you have to learn how to become a man, and a lot of us aren't going to get to play pro. So like, bro, straight up the first lesson was how to cook pasta, and man, I can't tell you how many motherfuckers didn't know how to cook pasta.
Boil water, put it in, and wait 8 minutes.
Dog, this was like a thing that people were like, oh shit, you boil the water first. This motherfucker's spitting up here. Like, it was
the amount of people that are so ill-equipped for life. It's the same thing in the Army.
Yeah.
Like, when you first join the Army, there's a bunch of 18, 19-year-old kids that obviously didn't have a lot of fucking guidance.
No, and maybe their mom just like, even like in bad households, it's like the mom just came home and cooked a meal. Like, that was what you ate. And you didn't ask, you didn't cook. There wasn't like, I mean, yeah, I learned to cook because there were nights where mom was like, do you want to help me make this foie gras? And I'm like, yeah, sure, that'll be fun. And like, you learn that way. But kids didn't know. But there was other things, like they taught us how to change a tire the next week. I don't know how to change a tire. And then I learned. And then eventually they were like, resume, and our coach's big pitch was he was like, hey, you guys, you might be worried like what you're going to do after football. You guys are set up for life. He goes, there are certain companies that specifically hire college athletes. You go, you will always have a job. The number one hire is at Enterprise Rent-A-Car. And the silence that like bestowed the room after that was like, you told us that we got the death penalty. It was crazy, bro. Everyone was like, did he say Enterprise Rent-A-Car? We were like, no. Like dudes were leaving to go hit the gym at that
I
moment.
know. What a great incentive, though, right?
Yeah.
What a good little subliminal message.
Yeah, we went 10-0 that season. We won 100-0 every game. Here's your keys, bitch.
There's a picture of an Enterprise on the other side of the locker room. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
do you remember Major League where they put the fucking cutout of the girl and took a article of clothing off? That's what they do with the Enterprise.
We leave and hit it every time we leave the locker room. We hit the Enterprise Rent-A-Car, just boop boop, like it locks the car. We're like, I'm not gonna be there.
Dude, that's so funny. And yeah, dude, it's crazy how inept most of us are at 18 or 19 years old. We're like,
I'm gonna look up what the starting pay at Enterprise Rent-A-Car is real quick. What were you saying though?
We're boiling water and pasta. Because I remember being in formation and a sergeant like being like, all right, boys, make sure you wash behind your ears this weekend. And you see three guys be like, wait, hold on. You wash behind your ears? You know, it's like three
Those
dudes.
moments, we had a big debate in ours where dudes were arguing, like someone was like, hey man, like y'all take soap and like put it on the side of your hand and like clean out your ass crack. And dudes were like, that's gay. And I was like, oh, you don't clean your ass? What?
Yeah.
Or like dudes finding out that like you're supposed to rub your legs with the loofah and not just like, they're like, but the water drips down and cleans you off. And it's like, no.
That's dirty water.
Yeah, I mean, look, dude, we've established on here I'm not the smartest guy. I did have some of those moments when Erica moved in with me out in college. I lived out in Murray for like a year. She comes in, she goes to do laundry the first day, and she goes, hey, babe, where's your detergent? And I was like, it's right in front of you. And she goes, this is fabric softener. And I was like, yeah, what's the difference? And she goes, have you been cleaning your clothes with only fabric softener? And I was like, what else would I use? And I didn't understand that there was I just thought I was like, yo, this is so much cheaper than this. Why would I not use just softener? And so I didn't use detergent for like a year of cleaning my clothes, which is fucking gross.
Dude, we are so ill-equipped for life as dudes at
Yeah.
18, 19 years old.
Yeah.
Like, they don't teach us shit.
And I think I had a good dad. Like, he taught me a lot of stuff, but like still clearly not enough, you know?
Dude, I had so many stepdads, so there was a gap. There was gaps.
You have the exception. There's no reason. My dad was like waking up at 5 a.m. to make sure I had a 6-egg breakfast before high school so I could gain weight. And then I was like, what's the difference between fabric softener and detergent? I'm just spoiled. That's
you
the
were just
difference.
sheltered.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
had a good life.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh no, I had a good life. Ooh, yeah.
Which is like the best way. Like, you don't know what the detergent is, and I'm over next to you with a washboard and a soap bar, you know, washing it like it's the 1920s.
Yeah. Yeah, there's just two parallel. I'm like, when does the maid get here? I'm like, oh, you must be the maid John. Nice to meet you.
I got to get these trousers ready for boss. Boss needs his trousers because he's got some bossing to do.
Oh, fuck, dude. Yeah. It was a shocking moment to see, because it was also wild to watch like a dude be like, I don't know how to make spaghetti, but be like, I'll shoulder press this car while I change its tire.
Well, dude, I told you about the guy that was at my high school, right? To this day, he's a marvel to me. His name was Thaddeus Snipes, to name drop. I hope you're still out there, buddy.
Yeah.
His name was Thaddeus Snipes, and he was in all of the classes for the learning disabled, right? All those classes. But he was 6'2", 6'3", 260, 270.
Yeah.
One of the best defensive tackles in the state of North Carolina.
Just a third leg, too.
Dude could just, I mean, we had this door stop next to the door. It was a 150-pound dumbbell.
Yeah.
And, like, nobody could even move it.
Yeah.
It just kind of stayed there and held the door open, you know, and that door never closed.
It's like a forbidden weight that you're like, what giant of a man put this here ages ago?
Absolutely. It's like the stone on the front of Jesus' tomb.
yeah.
Like, how the hell did this get here? And straight up, man, it's like Stonehenge. Thaddeus Snipes comes along and picks up fucking Stonehenge and moves it, and the door closes. And all of us, everybody in the gym stops, and we're like, oh my God. That door closes.
Yeah, you had no idea. You were like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and then we look over and there's this dude just curling this thing. But he couldn't spell bus. He could bust through an O-line.
Yeah.
He could run 3-4 solo. You know, this dude was amazing. But he couldn't spell bus.
Was he a happy guy, or because those big guys like that are either the happiest people or the angriest?
He was
people?
just very stoic.
Oh, okay. He's one of yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
like
just
doesn't speak much, probably because he knows he shouldn't.
well, yeah. It's probably hard to formulate a thought past this table is brown.
Yeah. He right now, if he's on the pod, he's chiming in with like a White Sox stat right now. He's like, White Sox more like shit socks, and we're like, what's happening? You've been thinking of that the entire time?
We asked him, was like, dude, how'd you get so strong? And he's like, they grew up in the middle of nowhere in the country out in Carolina.
Yeah.
And he goes, we didn't have any running water. He goes, so we had to walk to grandma's house up the hill to get running water.
Damn.
He goes, him and his brother would take 5-gallon buckets, walk up the hill, and literally just rinse and repeat for most of the day.
He was doing the Herschel Walker, Jerry Rice.
The Herschel Walker, Jerry Rice
Yeah.
stuff. But also he got to the point where it was like there wasn't enough water for their family because they had so many kids.
Yeah.
So they took 2 500-gallon barrels, attached them next to a fucking yoke thing, like an ox thing.
Yeah, just
And then would walk that all the way up the mountain doing strongman shit, and or up the hill. And they were like pickup tractors, and like it was just crazy the workouts these kids would do just being on a farm.
yeah. It is wild because I always wonder. Because it's like I'm tall, but I stayed skinny, and that had definitely a lot to do with. As like a kid, I was the most pickiest kid. My food couldn't touch. Like it's about like for a solid like 5 years, there was like 3 things I ate. It was like plain buttered noodles, white rice, and pizza, and that was all I would eat for like the ages of like 5 to 9.
That's
And
hilarious.
yeah, so I was like, but those kids like. You just gotta feed them. I feel like I've done a few pods where I've talked to some of the bigger comics, like an Austin Young or a Jake Rica, who are just like they're big, but I wouldn't even call them fat. They're just kind of units, you know.
Yeah.
And both of them, like when you ask them, they said that their families would kill a gallon of milk every day,
Yeah.
and just eat pork chops because like pork's always the cheapest meat.
Yeah.
So you're just slamming pork chops
Cheapest
and whole
protein.
milk. Ooh man,
What did they feed J.J. Watt growing up? That's what I want to know.
I wonder. I also real
He
quick.
had to be eating like whole chickens and like just cobs of corn.
Yeah, I mean, it had to be something crazy. By the way, the average pay for enterprise rent-a-car in Texas is $18 an hour. So,
Dude, you can make more in In-N-Out.
yeah, you can make double that at Buc-ee's.
Dude, that's fucking crazy.
Let's see, what did the?
No
we should
wonder
just-
they're so unhappy.
I mean, yeah, that's it says like, and it says like the highest end you can make is $40 an hour, which is I'm assuming like a managerial position, and that just makes me sad. You know, that makes me bummed for them. Okay,
Now, Candace Medina, shout out to Candace Medina, my buddy, Chunker Nugget. She used to work at Enterprise.
that must have been that we gotta. I would love to like call her one time and just have her tell us what it was like working at Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Okay, so, okay, I can find out like what JJ Watt's football diet is, but I'm having trouble finding what he ate as a kid. Do you want to know what he had for what his normal diet was?
Yeah.
So
He-
this.
I would guess 7,000 to 9,000 calories a day.
All right, so the 6'5", 289-pound defensive end starts his day with 900 calories of oatmeal, bro. As someone who did that, like a half
lot
cup
of
of oatmeal, like is what the average person is used to eating, is probably 200 calories, which means he's probably eating like
6 packs.
6 packs, 3 cups of oatmeal. Bro, I used to try and eat a cup of oatmeal, and that was like one of the worst things ever. And half a dozen eggs, 6 eggs, then a second breakfast a few hours later with another 5 eggs, meaning he goes through a carton a day. And then it says this he needs a lot of mass, and because this is like an article, so I'm kind of skipping through.
I go through half a carton a day. I eat like 6 eggs a day.
That's reasonable. If you're like just eating eggs, they are a super healthy, low calorie. I think it's like
High cholesterol.
Yeah,
but
like 80, 90 calories for an egg, right? Like
yeah, and
good in protein.
yeah, 9 grams of protein per egg.
Okay, here I found a better version of his breakfast, so I can. Okay, so and then he has a banana and apple with that. So second breakfast is 4 eggs, 2 slices of wheat toast with peanut butter, banana, and honey, and then 2 slices of wheat toast with jelly. For lunch, he has 3 chicken breasts with whole wheat pasta, Italian dressing, and a side of broccoli. He then has a second lunch where he has 3 more chicken breasts with mashed sweet potatoes and steamed carrots. For dinner, he has a whole rack of lambs with whole wheat pasta, grilled asparagus, and then he has a second dinner where he has a fillet with whole wheat pasta and steamed broccoli, finishing in around 6,000 calories a day.
Damn.
Fuck that.
Yeah, I was close. I said what, 7 to 9?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he probably was eating that when he was younger. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
this is him eating with a personal chef. He's eating like he's taking in all the right things with also probably like the minimal amount of calories. Like when he was back in high school, you know, he's probably throwing a double in there and
Yeah.
some other fucking
Cheap
little-
protein for sure.
Yeah,
Cheap-
100%.
Cheap pro. I mean, that's the way guys in prison are able to stay jacked is just finding cheap protein. Slim Jims. Cheap,
Yeah.
yeah.
I love those prison videos where they'll cut this shit up, roll it in the saran wrap, and then cook it with basically hot water.
Yep.
And it comes out this just slimy mess.
But God, I bet it tastes good.
Yeah, it's just one of those slop foods. Did you have any like slop foods you'd eat growing up?
Yeah, casseroles, right? Like
Yeah,
casseroles. I feel like broccoli, chicken, cheese casseroles.
casseroles are pretty gross.
Hamburger helper, dude.
I love hamburger. I eat that once a week.
I don't love it anymore,
Yeah,
but it's because of how much I can't eat that. I can't eat Spam. I can't eat potted meat.
I
Because of
understand.
how much a deviled ham. I
Yeah.
ate so much of that fucking canned shit growing up. Vienna sausages.
Oh,
I can't even smell Vienna sausages.
bro, shout out my roommate and who was supposed to RIP or supposed to be our third member of the pod, Dalen Mendoza. He
RIP.
the other day cooked up vegetarian Spam. So it was Spam that was turned like made with artificial fake meat products. It's already the lowest quality meat you can order. So it was kind of expensive too.
What
And
is
it-
wrong with Dale?
Bro, it was so gross. It was pink and had spots in it. It looked like we were eating the fucking Cheshire cat from Alice in Wonderland. It was fucking disgusting, bro.
It looks like Dino from the Flintstones.
Yes, bro, it looked just like that. It was wild. It was like one of the most egregious meals I've ever seen him eat. The only thing worse I've seen him do is cook mac and cheese, and instead of like making a roux to put in between the cheese, he used barbecue sauce, and then he finished it with slices of Kraft Singles on top. It's an egregious move. Bad food cooks. A lot of people don't know how to cook, is what I'm
Let's
realizing.
throw this back to the original point here, where
Yes.
Dale needs a fucking cooking class.
Yes, he
We've
does.
got to show
yes.
Dale how to boil water.
Yes, or get him a job at Enterprise Rent a Car at this point. You know what I mean?
You want to break down the fantasy team?
Yeah, I was pretty happy with our fantasy team. For the listeners, me and John, we drafted a fantasy team together here in our Austin Comedy League. I mean, we got ranked 7th. I don't ever listen to those ESPN rankings. I feel like they don't mean shit. Score-wise, I think we're like projected like 5th after the first week, which again,
Yeah, but
it's also like the first guy is projected to score 4.5 points more than us. Ooh,
Yeah.
You mean like 2 catches
yeah.
or like a touchdown difference?
I liked the way we drafted yesterday. It was fun. You
Mhm.
got 12 comics shoved into a green room at the creek in
Yes.
the cave.
Yeah.
I'm hiding shit in Dean's hair.
You're hiding forks and cute little utensil things, and then everyone was like, for those, I mean, most people aren't comics who are going to listen to this. A weird thing about being a comic is anytime you make an event with a bunch of comedians, whether it's a group chat or a thing, Erica loves to point this out as a non-comic, it becomes a competition of who can get their jokes off the
Yeah.
most. Whether you want to or not, it's just everyone one-upping each other with jokes.
But me and you, the nice thing about it is we were off in like our little private war room.
Yeah.
You know, me and you were just like deliberating the whole time. Everybody's just doing nonsense, working their 5, and we're like,
Yeah.
"Yo, dude, I think Ayuk's gonna slip. I
We
think Ayuk's
had
gonna fall."
crazy people fall to us in like certain rounds and certain picks.
It was insane. If you play fantasy football, understand that we got Bijan Robinson with the number 7 pick.
Yep.
That's fucking unheard
He
of.
fell all the way down. I mean, and that's the thing too is like I understand guys like Drake London and Kyle Pitts for the Falcons fell because they had a bad year and not everyone remembers that Kirk Cousins is coming, and
Yeah.
some people think he won't come back from the injury, or some people like Kirk Cousins is not a winner, but he's a damn good quarterback,
He is
especially fantasy wise.
Yeah, he outlasted RG3. Remember, they
Mhm.
were drafted in the same draft by
Yeah.
the same team.
And Kirk Cousins like has probably 2 years of this contract. Will get cut for Michael Penix, go sign another contract. I mean, he's going to play for another 4 to 6 years
Yeah.
in the NFL. Bijan was good last year with Desmond Ridder and Taylor Heineke and Arthur Smith as his coach.
Absolutely, and also, there was a big frustration last year with Bijan in the fact that he wasn't utilized.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't utilizing him correctly because that offense was just a scattered fucking mess.
Yes.
Kyle Pitts. I mean, the thing is they've got all the flashy weapons.
Yeah.
They've got all of the turbos. But the thing is do they have like a drivetrain? Does that team have the line that can get them to the next stage that can protect Kirk Cousins? Because that's one of their issues is that they lose quarterbacks because they can't protect them.
Yeah, I mean it'll be interesting. I think he's gonna get dump offs. Like it's just how the offenses work these days. Is that it's like 1 read, 2 read, dump off. Like first guy, second guy, throw it to your running back. He's so dynamic that they're gonna run designed fucking yo motions for him where he swings out on these halfback swings, and we're in a PPR league. Yeah. So every catch is like I wish I could see. I'm trying to see his like if I look at his 2023 stats. I mean, he finished with 250 fantasy points. He only finished with 40 less fantasy points than Brock Purdy, who was the number 5 quarterback.
That's insane.
And he's a running back.
Yeah.
He is the highest scoring player last year that we have on our team, behind only Raheem Mostert, who led the NFL in touchdowns, who, by the way, we also got in like round 9.
Yeah, round 9 or something. So great value because everybody wants Arcane because he's the flashy picks. He's going to get the receptions.
That's what I don't understand is I'm sure everyone who's drafted now has watched this happen in their league, where, don't get me wrong, A-Chain is going to be a part of their offense. They're going to use him more. It's going to be a little bit like the whole, like, how Gibbs was last year, how there's like, hey, even near the end of the year where they're kind of like, we got to alternate goal line carries. We got to give them a few things here and there. Mostert's not leaving the offense.
No.
He's not the backup. He's still going to get carries. They're going to run crazy formations with both of them, and he's still going to be the red zone guy.
And you got to think about all the protection that defenses have to have over the top for Waddle and Hill.
And Hill, yeah.
And how much that midfield is going to be open, and how much room you're going to have to operate there when you've got 2 guys like Hill and Waddle on the outside that can literally cut you open.
Yeah.
On any given play. So it's going to keep you honest on the back end.
Yeah.
And it's going to leave so much room for Mostert and Chain to have an incredible season. We were talking about Atlanta. The one thing I wanted to say, about Atlanta while I was thinking about it is everyone was upset, in Atlanta about them taking Penix and how that was a huge fuck you to Kirk Cousins. I don't think that was a huge fuck you to Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
I think that was a huge screw you to the offensive line, where it's like, we've got to go take a quarterback in the first round because you can't keep our quarterbacks healthy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it was more of a message sent to them and putting them on notice than it was putting Kirk Cousins on notice. Because it's like, well, Kirk, you're probably going to get hurt. These guys suck.
Yeah. I also think that I never thought Penix was going to be that high of a draft pick. I truly thought that he was going to be the classic
second, third round.
Yeah, I think like Will Levis did this a couple years ago or 2 years ago, where like he was one of the better quarterbacks, but it was like GMs were smart and were like, hey, we're not going to reach. And then I think he went like late, like I think the Titans came up and took him maybe at like 32.
Wasn't that the case with Josh Allen too?
Same thing, where it was like the Bills traded into the first round and got him at the end of the first, or guys are going. That's where I imagined him. Especially because he's older too. I know that like some people say that doesn't matter, but it's like, hey, he's 26. Like his athletic ability is not gonna increase.
No,
he's at his peak athleticism in this moment. So like, use it. But I do think, to the Falcons' defense, the Packers showed them a very clear path that you can do this. Jordan Love was an older quarterback. They took him and they let him sit for longer than people thought. And Jordan Love is a top 10 NFL quarterback with like a real chance to lead. I mean, they took out the Cowboys, who were like a big favorite to make it to the Super Bowl last year.
Well, they did it with Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers too. It's been kind of the blueprint for Green Bay, and I think it's the right blueprint. And I think very rarely are we rewarded for doing the right thing, right? Where like we praise these people for going about, the due diligence.
Yes.
But Green Bay has done it time after time, where they're like, we're going to take a top 10 quarterback. that is going to fall or whatever. We're going to, make sure we utilize this guy in a situation where he can be mentored, where he can learn. There's no pressure on him immediately. He's not going to break and crack from the pressure. We ruined so many quarterbacks in the NFL by making them start immediately.
I mean, look at not to pick on your Panthers, and I'm not saying Bryce Young is ruined yet, but that's what happened to Bryce Young.
The potential was there.
He had to start. I'm not saying at all that Bryce Young should have sat behind Sam Darnold, but he had that thing where he went out behind a dog shit O-line with no one to really throw to, with not a good coach and not an owner that gives a fuck, and a stadium and fan base that is mad at their franchise. He is in the worst situation possible, and it lowers his window because if he has a bad year again this year, the hate he's gonna get is gonna fuck with him. Yeah. It's like opening, like, okay, you can keep fucking tomato sauce in the pantry, but as soon as you open it, you gotta refrigerate that shit now. There's a shelf life on it. That's an NFL quarterback kind of.
Yeah.
Like Bo Nix, his shelf life just went from like you could have sat him, brought him in after Stiddenfeld, done next year, given him another shot, give him a third year. He's starting now. If he is trash by week 8, you have to bench him. And then at that point, does he have the confidence and does that fuck with him too much to come back?
Yeah.
So I don't think sorry, I'm kind of rambling, but you said it best last night. College football has never been better.
It's never been better.
So there are guys like Caleb Williams and CJ Stroud who can come in and play right away, but there are still also guys that need to develop. And the GMs have to figure that out because if you play the guy too early, his confidence is gone.
If you can be an elite quarterback in the SEC, you can be a top 10 quarterback in the NFL nowadays.
Yes.
And I just think that that's proven true. It wasn't that way like 10 years ago where Johnny Manziel, right, was the number one quarterback in college football, could do all these amazing things, but that didn't necessarily translate to the pros. A lot of it had to do with his personality as well.
The scrambling.
It's a poor example, but in the same breath, it is an example where it's like this dude could be a top 10 quarterback. I don't know if Johnny Manziel, and now in today's college football, could be a top 10 quarterback again.
Yeah, it's a different scheme. Like it was. I mean, it's crazy to think like in your mind, Johnny Manziel. What's one of the first things that come to your mind when you think of him play style wise is his scrambling ability. He ran like a 4. I'll look this up, but I'm almost positive he ran like a 4.7 40-yard dash.
He wasn't fast. He was elusive.
He's not, bro. He ran a 4.68 40, so a 4.7 40-yard dash. That is slower than almost all starting D linemen now.
Yeah.
That's slower than every linebacker. So that's just the difference is like even in college now guys run that fast. I mean,
it's crazy, man.
Not to be like a douche, but like I was like an all right athlete. I ran a 4.78.
Yeah.
And I was a defensive end. And I was definitely lacking in athleticism compared to a lot of the guys at the Division I program. It's a different sport now.
Yeah, if you gave me 8 weeks, I could give you a 4.7.
Yeah. Get the hamstring stretched out a little. Get a few calisthenics in.
Yeah, do some shoots.
Some water aerobics.
Run up some steps.
Yeah.
Cue the training montage.
Yeah, just get a little Rocky montage going on. It'll be good. My phone played a Rocky song right before you came in here. It was Burning Heart, the one where he runs through, and I was just typing on the computer.
The burning heart.
Yes. And he's just running through the snow, and I was like, I'm ready to fight John when he gets here. Let's fucking go.
Dude, there is nothing harder than Rocky with a beard.
No.
There's nothing on this planet, dude. I don't know that epitomizes manliness. Rocky in that motherfucking barn with that beard, picking up that damn thing.
Pushing the fucking yoke up, sweating from the fire as Adrian looks on.
Dude,
wondering if her husband's going to die in the ring.
I watched Rocky IV with my ex-girlfriend, Chelsea, and she ruined it for me. She ruined it. She goes, "This is the worst Rocky movie." And I'm like, no. This is the best Rocky movie.
Yes.
And she goes, "No, this is the worst one." And I'm like, "Why?" She goes, "It's literally a montage, followed by a montage, followed by a black guy getting killed, followed by a montage, followed by a training montage, followed by a fighting montage that ends on a freeze frame." And I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, I mean, if you,
Fuck.
without context, I would assume you're describing a Fox News broadcast. To be honest. Just montage black guy dies, montage black guy dies, some weird thing at the end about how Russia sucks. It does read, Rocky 4 is just a 2024 Fox News broadcast. Maybe that's why we like it as white guys. They're just showing us Rocky 4 every morning.
And there's Robert Kennedy Jr. in a barn picking up horses. Just
leaving bears in Central Park and stuff. Fuck, man, we're just Fox News kids. That's all we are. That's a bummer to find out. Fuck your ex-girlfriend for ruining Rocky 4 for me. That bitch.
My son, he's gotten into boxing.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, it is, man. But like, when you're little, you want to put the cart so far before the horse. He like just put on boxing love. We just started doing pad work. We just started working around that. He goes, Dad, I need boxing shorts, and I'm like, well, dude, you don't need boxing shorts. You need to make sure you get the whole combo.
Yeah,
before,
yeah.
I guess to make sure you don't get knocked out. But boxing shorts, because buddy, if you get boxing shorts before you know how to box, they're just gonna be pajamas.
Yeah, but he'll look pretty when he gets knocked out.
Yeah, that's something to sleep in.
yeah. Literally gets slept in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah, that's fun though. That's gonna be dope for your kid because he's gonna I hope your kid never gets in a fight. You never want your kid to get in a fight, but if some motherfucker steps to him, he's gonna hit him with the burning heart combo and sleep his ass. It's just the 1-2 punch. Do a little dance on him. He'd be like, my daddy taught me that. And he's like, fuck yes.
The eye of the tiger, dude.
Yeah, the eye. Oh, man. What do you think, talking about that, is Rocky 4 the best, sports montage moment? Because every sports movie has that moment where they build up to, the victory. I mean, really, Rocky 4, because it's the Hearts on Fire plays in that final mon. And when he's running up the mountain and it hits the, peak of the song and he goes Drago, the pans out, Drago, pans out again.
Yeah,
that's cinematography right there.
And that's no drone. You gotta think they did that without a drone.
Yeah, damn. Man, I'm trying to really think if there is a more intense sports moment or hype moment in any sports movie than that. I mean, I will say this is a TV show, but I think season 1 of Friday Night Lights is damn near perfect. And that final scene when he's going for the corner of the end zone and he gets hit and Riggins flies and just gets it across to win the national champ or the state championship.
State title, yeah.
That's a good one. Or when they beat Voodoo Tate the next year, I think it is.
Yeah.
Those are good ones. I mean, it just doesn't hold. I don't know really if there is a better one than Rocky.
I think it's probably the greatest. I think really the greatest motivation in sports comes from fucking Rocky movies.
Yeah.
The speech that he gives his son, keep moving forward, in Rocky Balboa, that movie wasn't great. That speech is fucking incredible, dude.
It's not about how hard you get hit. Or
It's
you're
not
going
about-
to keep
yeah.
going. Yeah.
Keep moving forward.
That's a
because
great
that's
one.
what winners do. Keep moving forward. It's such a great fucking dude. If you hear that right before you're gonna work out, you're gonna bench press 1,000 pounds.
100%. Even dude, an underrated one in Rocky that gets forgotten is he's sitting there. Adrian's sick. She's not awake, and he wakes up and she goes, "Come here." And he goes, "What?" And he goes, "Come here." And she goes, "Promise me one thing." He goes, "What?" He goes, "Win." And he goes, "What?" And she goes,
Win.
"Win." He goes, bum 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 bum, and then it's just him doing push-ups in the cold, and he grabs bro.
There's nothing that fires you up
There's
quite like that,
better
dude.
than that.
I know.
There's nothing better.
It's crazy that a fake Philadelphia boxer was the reason for a lot of us getting into sports and actually feeling that desire for the first time.
Yeah.
Of wanting to be better, of wanting to do more, and it's crazy the power that fucking movies have.
Yeah, man, it really is fucking awesome. That's something like that. And I'm sure there's people that are we sure sound a little goofy or whatever, loving a movie this much, but it really does. If you watched it at the right age too. Look, I understand.
I know.
If I'm going to show you Rocky and you're 35 years old and you have a life, you might just be like, hey, I'm dead inside and this doesn't do anything for me. But when I was 12 and my dad, first off, just your dad being like, watch this movie. This is one of my favorite movies. And then you're excited because you're like, I want to like it. And then it being so good.
Yeah.
And such a pivotal move. It's just amazing.
Well, I think the way I tried to explain it to my son when we watched it was I'm like, you have to understand, the original Rocky is a film.
Mm-hmm.
This is a film. This should be studied.
Yes.
You know, we should strive to make movies because not only is it, a fight story,
Low budget.
low budget, but it's a beautiful love story
Mm-hmm.
about two people that really kind of shouldn't be together,
Yeah.
but do find a way. You know what I mean? And it does work because you got this guy that's punchy and kind of slow, and you've got this girl that's kind of mousy, and she's got this disability in a sense where she's super introverted.
Yeah.
It's not even that she's disabled or she's mentally whatever. She's just so introverted and shy that the world is such a scary place to her. But then
Yeah.
you've got this guy who's kind of dumb, and the world's not a scary place to him.
No.
It's not. He can survive in this world.
It's simple. He just
It's-
wants to box
It's
and
very
like,
simple.
keep his wife
And
safe.
it's an amazing love story.
Mm-hmm.
Rocky is.
Well, it's great. Even if you watch all the 6 films, like even later in it when Adrian passes, and then his restaurant's called
Adrian's, and he
it's
sets out by her grave every day.
Yeah,
goes
brings
out and
her
talks to
stuff.
her, reads her the paper.
Dude, but even going to Polly's grave and he sets the liquor bottle on top, like little moments like that are fucking sweet, dude.
Yeah.
It's a really fantastic franchise.
It is.
If you haven't seen, because I guess there's other good sports moments, but I don't think much.
I think Remember the Titans when they finally come together at camp. They do that run for Gettysburg,
Yeah.
and you got the coach. What's his name? The white coach when he's like, they're not Navy SEALs or they're not, they're not in the Army,
Yeah.
and he just doesn't say anything to him. He just blows the whistle.
He ignores them. Yeah.
But it's almost like implied to where it's the expectation is that.
And the first scene where you're like, oh, here they go fighting again, but nah, he's going strong side,
Yeah, left side, right, yeah.
and they're fighting, and you're like, oh
And they're
my
jumping
god,
up and down, yeah.
they're learning to coexist. And
Yeah.
I think right then, and then it cuts, and they're coming out doing the fucking Titans dance
Yep.
and shit. Yeah,
And when Gary Bertier looks at Julius Campbell, I think it's one of the coolest moments in that movie
Mhm.
where he goes, "That's a piss poor attitude," and he goes, "Attitude reflects leadership, Captain."
Yeah, there's some bars in that when he's like in the hospital. God, it makes you tear up every time he's sitting in
Oh,
the
man, it's
hospital,
my
and
brother.
he goes, only families on. He goes, can't you see that's my brother? And you're like, they beat racism.
I know.
They did it. All it took was crippling this poor white guy. They learned it.
All it took was a militant black coach that hated his players.
Yeah.
So you do there is a lot of stories about Herman Boone because I'm from that area. I'm from
yeah.
like just south of Alexandria, Virginia, from Danville.
Yeah.
He coached at GW High School, which is where my dad played.
Oh, wow.
So my dad actually knew Herman Boone.
Wow.
My dad met him, he knew him, and my dad went there in I think the 70 or 71, 70 season. Yeah, and he knew Herman Boone, and like what my dad said about him when the Titans came out was this guy was an asshole.
Yeah.
You got to understand that they are painting him in a very nice light. He goes, this dude was a fucking asshole.
Yeah. Also, though, can you blame him? People were throwing bricks through his window and calling him Coach Seward. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's I might be a
But they
little.
said he
grumpy.
was like a dick to the black players. He was like super dick.
That's how he earned the respect. Is he was like, look, all of you are pieces of shit.
Yeah, he's like that's how you get respect. Just
I
treat
don't
everybody
see
like
color. Yeah, I see that you're all fucking useless fucking players until you get your shit right.
shit. Up downs until I get tired.
Yeah, yeah.
Up downs until I don't see race anymore.
And then it was just two black, like a black guy and a white guy standing next to each other, and they both at the same time went, "This black man's tripping," and they went, "We're not too different, are we? Huh? Not too different, huh?"
Dude, there's nothing that can bring you together quite like some unified hate.
A common enemy
A common enemy.
is the greatest.
Dude, I had a stepdad, and with me and the Mexicans on that farm,
Yeah.
we did not speak the same language, but we spoke the same hatred.
Yeah, there was just I'm sure a look you gave each other that
Yeah.
just meant every bad thing you could say about him.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That was a pendejo look.
Yeah. You're like, I don't know what a pendejo is, but he's being a pendejo
Yeah,
right
he's
now.
a puta,
Yeah.
panocha, all those things you say about him that I can't understand. He's that.
Fuck. Yeah, we're coming to the end of the pod here. I was thinking,
Have you ever been to the Phoenix Open?
no.
The Phoenix Open, I think, is one of the greatest feats in American
Is that the
sports. Golf. But it's the 16th hole.
Yes,
And
I'm aware with that.
It is the only golf event that I've ever been to where somebody's like, hey, you're going to do Molly, right? And you're like, yeah, of course.
Yeah, why would I not do Molly at
Yeah.
the Phoenix Open?
Absolutely. We're going to throw beach balls around. Somebody's going to flash their dick at a golfer mid-swing. We're going to have a good time.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No. I think that is the best golf event. Where else is the crowd gonna like heckle and cheer for a golf event like that. That hole is taken straight out of Happy Gilmore.
Yeah.
If it's not in Happy Gilmore too,
It
that's a
has to
fucking crime.
It has to be.
That's a crime.
It has to be. He goes and does like a beer bong in the stands.
Yeah, that's the only place you'll see someone hit a hole in one and then the whole crowd starts shotgunning Four Locos.
It's
And
the
you're
only
like,
golf. It's the only golf hole you'll see where there's a beer snake.
yeah. That's amazing. That's such a good culture that they've built there at
They
that
said
hole.
they're going to try to tame it down.
That's
it's
lame.
Too, it's
Why?
too rowdy.
Why?
I know. I say amp it up.
Let the boys have fun.
It's one hole.
It's one hole. It's one hole. It's also, I've always hated that thing where like.
Also, I've used that same argument when describing girls to my friend. It's only one hole.
Get over it, dude. It's only one hole. Like, it's the Phoenix Open. You're like,
Remember your ex Samantha? She let you have 2 holes.
yeah, man. I would love to go to that hole and just sit down. That's one of those things that's one of my favorite, like, I'm just fucked up drunk and to watch like a 9-minute compilation of the 16th hole at the Phoenix Open and just watch dudes hit hole in one and lose it and run down the crowd. We need more personality. Like I need Bryson DeChambeau to hit a hole in one on that and then like go in the crowd and like beer bong with someone. You know what I mean?
The problem is that the powers that be are so militant about etiquette
Yeah.
that it makes it impossible to actually show any personality.
Oh,
You-
yeah.
You have to be this sort of corporate drone now because of sponsorships. Because
Yeah.
there's so much money riding on your performance, your demeanor, and your actions
Yeah.
that it's literally like this is kind of unrelated, but there is a scene with LeVar Burton and Lawrence Fishburne where they're talking about acting. And LeVar Burton was Reading Rainbow. He played Kunta Kinte.
Yeah.
And he's talking to Lawrence Fishburne, and this is beautiful clip, and he goes, I said fuck, and I lost money. He goes, that's how high of a standard was held on me. I said fuck, and I lost money.
That is crazy.
It's the standard that we hold these people to that makes them almost inhuman.
Yeah.
And that's why when you get guys like Tiger Woods, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, all these, super athletes that go above and beyond, it's because they have figured out not only how to be the perfect corporate drone, but also to be relatable to the people in a way that allows them to be marketable.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's anybody that had a worse private image and a better public image than Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan privately was known as a sociopathic gambler.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Who may or may have not got his dad killed.
who may or may not have gotten his dad killed. You know what I mean? This is what Michael Jordan's known as personally.
Yeah.
Professionally, he's known as the GOAT.
Yeah.
One of the greatest marketers in the history, the godfather of basketball shoes. He's known as one of the most prolific people ever to touch a fucking ball in sports. And his PR team had to be one of the best ever. But also, it just goes to show that if you play the game right, and I'm not talking about basketball, I'm talking about the political side of it. If you shake enough hands and kiss enough babies, you do it in the right manner, and you put a product out that people fucking love,
Yeah.
they don't give a fuck.
No, they'll be your fan no matter what.
Yeah, as long as something heinous and extreme doesn't come out, like Oscar Pistorius fucking shooting his South African girlfriend,
Yeah.
you're gonna be gold.
Yeah. I mean, because every once in a while a villain does take the main stage, but it's not as lucrative. And I have to imagine, like, if you're the villain, like, even like kind of like Antonio Brown was before he really jumped off the edge,
Yeah.
or like even like a Terrell Suggs kind of guy, or like a Vontaze Burfict, like
John
those-
Rocker.
Yeah, like guys who, it's cool because you're famous, and what probably sucks is, like you said, it's normally the opposite. It's Michael Jordan, where he's good guy on screen, bad guy behind closed doors. The asshole guy who's probably like being the heel is probably a good guy, and that sucks because that's the guy that you see in an airport, and you're like, fuck you, John Rocker, fuck you, Antonio Brown, and they're just like, hey man, like I actually like am a nice guy, and I would have like taken a picture with you and talked to you and all that, but like that's now the role that you are. You'd much rather be the loved guy who's an asshole behind the scenes.
But you know who didn't do that, and I think has had just as much success as John Bones Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't. He is not done.
Well, he's in the like one sport where he's in the right sport to be the kind of asshole he is.
Absolutely, yeah. He's like the perfect amount of asshole for the UFC because I mean Dana White's an asshole.
Yeah.
So Yeah, of course, the number one fighter it would make sense because that's the blueprint that he set. That John Jones would be a fucking dick.
Yeah.
But also, one of the things I love about John Jones is nobody can beat him up.
No.
There's not a person on the planet. I think once you've achieved that, once you're there, you get to be however the fuck you want to be.
How do you expect us to behave?
Exactly.
You know? How do you expect me not to behave like an asshole when I know literally the only thing that can beat me is a 3.57 caliber bullet? That's about it. 22 is not doing shit to John Jones.
No, dude.
He might flex and spit it back out at you.
You're going to need an RPK.
Yeah.
7.62 millimeters fired at 100,000 rounds a minute. You're going to need something.
If I was fighting John Jones, I would want nothing less than like a Sherman tank to fight him.
I mean, it's crazy how scary of a human that he actually is.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think in any sport, maybe, the football, but there's only a few sports where you find someone that is that intimidating. That, like, even the people that train to do this thing at the highest level are still scared.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be scary to be in, like, I wonder, too, like, how scary it is to be with those people in real life. Because there's this one that, like, transcend it. Like, would you rather be in a car with Ray Lewis after the club after someone just talks some foul shit to him and he's all gassed up ready to kill him, or would you rather be in an elevator with Ray Rice when he's upset?
Oh man, R.I.P. Ray Rice.
Yeah,
dude, he had such a good career until he beat his wife up in an elevator, and she forgave him. They stayed together.
Maybe he's just claustrophobic. Maybe he's just a normal guy in the walls. He's like, the walls are fucking closing in. Oh, and he's like, oh. As soon as the doors open up, he's like, oh, what did I do? Oh no! And he had his fucking Lenny of Mice and Men moment where he dragged her out there. He's like, oh no, you're okay. He's like kind of like Weekend at Bernie's.
He's looking at the cops. Da Bonnies.
Yeah,
heart da Bonnies.
Who's the elevator? Everything was closing in around me. I thought we called power, and the DNs were caving in on me. I just wanted to.
If you're ever curious as to what type of content this podcast is going to be about, 10-year-old domestic violence. That's pretty much where we're lying right now.
Yeah. This is a fun episode, though, dude. This is a good time.
Yeah, this was great. Do we want to go through any more of the team and actually talk about, like, because we didn't really talk.
I guess we just, our team real quick so people can actually care is we have QB, Anthony Richardson.
Which we know. We know there's a ceiling there.
There's
very
risks.
aware. Yeah, there's a lot of risk with that, but the upside's huge.
And we got Brock Purdy to back him up. We have our safety net, our guy that's not like a big showy guy, but when we need 20 points, he'll get it every week.
Absolutely.
We got Bijan and Pacheco at running back,
which is crazy.
Crazy that we got both those guys. They're both clear number ones with high volume. We got Raheem Mostert as our flex, and then our receivers are definitely like our weakest spot, but still we have Brandon Ayuk and Chris Godwin, who I think are going to be great, and our backup wide receiver we have Keon Coleman, who I'm super excited about. I mean, a certified number one in Buffalo most likely, and then we got Sam Laporta at tight end, Chiefs defense, and one of the best kickers last year in Cairo Santos, who, like you said, think Caleb Williams is going to struggle a little in the red zone.
I agree. I think that's the hardest transition for a quarterback to the NFL is figuring out the red zone.
Yeah.
Also, one of the picks I'm most excited about that we made, and I don't know why nobody's as big on him as I am, but I think Chase Brown is going to have an Austin Eckler 21 type year. I am big on Chase Brown. I think he's going to replace Zach Moss immediately. I think he presents a threat out of the backfield. He reminds me of like a Brian Westbrook type. Yeah. And I don't think Brian Westbrook ever gets enough love as a running back. No. Just because he was really like one of the first running backs to show how good you could be catching the ball out of the backfield and turning it upfield, breaking tackles. Brian Westbrook was a smart football player. I think a lot of running backs should achieve to be what Westbrook was.
Yeah, he kind of paved the way for like what running backs are now. And it's funny because back then he was kind of seen as like a sissy.
Absolutely.
Oh, he just catches passes and he like avoids hits, and it's like, oh, his longevity.
You mean longevity?
Yeah.
I would kill for that.
Yeah, he isn't done after 4 seasons because he's not 1,200 carries in his 4th year.
Absolutely. So I think I'm big on Chase Brown.
Yeah.
I think that with that offense, Joe Burrow is going to struggle a little bit coming out from surgery, just finding Higgins and Chase. They're going to need to alleviate some pressure off Burrow, and I think Chase Brown's going to do that.
Yeah, it's a crazy stat. Is it says last year he averaged 14.4 yards per reception because he was just good at catching screens and
Yeah.
swings out of the backfield. And I mean, just like you said, like Zach Moss will be the starter for several weeks. They brought him in to be the starter, but I mean, the Zach Moss experiment has run its course.
Yeah.
So
I mean, he's. I think Zach Moss is kind of done. Where was he last year? Buffalo.
Buffalo,
Yeah.
and I mean, he sank behind James Cook and
Yeah.
was never really in. Yeah, I think we're gonna have a good team. I'm excited. We'll update you guys because we'll record on Monday. So as long as it's not coming into like the Monday night game is deciding our game, we'll be able to kind of update you guys on our record. And even worst case, maybe we'll just try and edit a little blurb in and be like, we lost or we won, or at the end if we can't get it in. But it was a good episode, man.
Good episode, buddy. Hey, watch the pod, guys.
Yeah.
Watch us. Check it out. We're idiots, but we love you.
Yeah, rate, review, and subscribe. That helps us. If you're wondering how you can help besides listening, thank you.
Cool.
Give us some love. See you guys.
See you.
That's that cocoa foul.